class. This is a Java level 3 class, and it is the first class of Java 3. And when you are in this class, I assume that you have finished the Java level 1 and level 2. All those basic Java skills have been done. So we get into new paradigm. We are trying to use in Java to solve real world problem. The most important tasks in the programming deal with data. Either it's a file or some data stored in the database. So that's what we face every day. So when you guys grow up and you graduated from college and you do a job in the company or in the government sector, as long as you do computer programming, and you will find out that the majority of your time are actually just trying to get the data or trying to save the data. You either read a file, you or create a file, you either do data feeding to the database or do data retrieving and display the data to the customer or to the citizens, right? So those are two most important development tasks. So before we move to the class material, let me do a brief introduction. Let me show this slide. So what I want to know from you. So I'm Xiu Zuyan, and this is my email account. I have been doing programming for over 30 years. I'm teaching in the University of Maryland, Baltimore County campus. I teach master degree students how to program applications. And I wanted to know from you your name, your school and grade, and what drives you to learn Java, especially advanced Java. Now we're trying to do some real world programming. So let me stop sharing and can you guys turn on your camera and introduce you to me. Okay.
The name, yeah. So
yeah, can
you go first.
Go ahead.
Andy, are you here? Do you want to try?
Yeah, I'm here.
Introduce yourself first. Thank you.
All right. My name is Andy. I'm in 9th grade. Wait, what else do I have to say?
Which school do you go?
I go to Richard Montgomery High School. Yeah.
Okay. What motivates you to take the Java class?
I want to ultimately succeed in the AP Java test. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So next one, Devin.
So we're talking about why we want to learn Java.
Yes, introduce yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Devin. I go to Robert Frost Middle School, 8th grade, and I want to learn Java because because I'm interested in programming. So yeah.
Nice. And also you're doing the robotics that can help you, right?
Yeah, and I'm in AOE robotics.
Very good. So next one, David.
David, I'm 13 years old. I go to Hoover Middle School. I'm in 8th grade, and I did this class because I want to learn Java.
Very good, David. Thank you for coming back. So Marilyn.
My name is Marilyn. I am 12 and I go to Captain John Middle School. I take Java class because I want to learn programming.
Awesome, great. Good to have you back, Marilyn. I'm glad the schedule works for you. So Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm in 10th grade, and I want to learn Java because I feel like it's a very important skill.
Good. Very good. I do agree with you. So I think I forgot Stephen, right?
Hello, my name is Stephen. I am 14 years old and go to Churchill High School. If I'm to be honest, I don't really want to do Java. My parents want me to.
Aha, okay. Good. You can keep Java until level 3. Very good. Hope you like it. Okay, thank you everyone for coming back to take Java 3. I will return the class back to Dr. Yan.
All right. I just just wanted to say, oh, that's great. This class, all the students told me that the reason I'm doing Java is something like I wanted to do it. And Stephen, okay, that's okay. That's still a good reason because I think your parents made a good choice. Unless you don't like it that much, but if you do it, I think you will benefit from it. And if you are trying to do AP, and the OIL Club also offer a Java AP class, and we do computer science AP class test A. So that's much complicated than just principle. And we have run those classes for a while. All right, so let's get back to OIL Java. So Java actually was very, very popular and the most popular programming language, and very powerful, and it used by different sectors like private companies and the government agencies, because it is platform independent. If you know how to do Java in the past, and the guarantee is pretty much you have a job, and a very nice paid job. Of course, I know that you guys do not worry about a job at this moment. But it's a very useful skill. It's a very useful skill. Now let's just come to launch our Eclipse. If you have not, and we are trying to deal with our advanced Java. So when you are in level 1, level 2 class, so what you learn are the skills, okay? How to write a condition, how to write a loop, how to write a function, how to write a class. And I think very few of you really write a useful class, right? But today, we're going to learn a lot. So we are going to use classes created by other people. Here it's created by the Java framework developers. So those people who invented Java, so they created those classes, these libraries. So the first one we're going to deal with is a file. Okay, it's a file. As I just mentioned, if you do computing, you deal with data. Either it's a file or a piece of data stored in the database, right? So this is a skill you have to have if you wanted to do development. So let me give you this URL, and I want you guys to look at this, and this will be the norm in our future class. We will always do it this way. If we wanted to learn something, because we are not going to start from scratch, there are a lot of Java classes, Java libraries have been developed. We just need to learn how to use it. We just need to learn how to use it. So now if we wanted to deal with a file, so let's go to this URL and deal with it. Okay. So if you have been in my class for level 1 or level 2, I mentioned it, we need to come to this Java doc a lot. Here you see it's the file class. And you see this class is in this package, java.io package. And for this class, it has a parent. And I already said in Java level 1, level 2, in Java, every class, if you do not specify a parent, then that class is the child of object. Okay, java.long.object. Object is the parent of all Java classes. All Java classes. So if you create a new class, if you make it a child of another class, then object will be the grandfather. Okay, maybe the great grandfather, but object is the father or the parent of all classes. Okay, so you see, when we come to learn a class, what do we do? This paragraph, usually we have to read it. It gives us an idea why we have this class, what we need to be aware of, what is the use of it, and what is the relationship this file, this class with other classes, right? So this gives us generic knowledge about this class. And as a developer, after you read that, then you come to see here. This is the template of Java doc for all the Java classes if you follow the convention. First thing is the fields. When you were in Java level 2 class, you learned what is a class. Class has members. So what are the members? At least 2 types of members. One is the fields. We also call it attributes or properties. And that's the property it has, okay? So what is the property name? Path separate. Path separate char, separator char, right? That is the properties of the file class. Then you come to read constructor. What is the constructor used for? If you wanted to use a class, you have to use an instance of it, right? You wanted to create an instance of that class, and then you need to know, how do I create an instance? When you learn class in level 2, and you should have learned the constructor. So you see the constructor actually are methods. And here they are overloaded. You have 4 different ways to create an instance of a file. Okay, so you have 4 constructors. They are overloaded. And then you come to see there are all the methods. When we talk about a class, you have properties, you have methods. Methods are the behavior. Properties are the state. Okay? So when you create an instance, usually the state is determined by the properties. Let's say you create an instance of a human being, then the gender, okay? The weight, the height, okay? And the race, they may be the properties that defines this human being instance. But the behaviors, walk, right? Speak, saying, thinking, all those things are the behaviors, are the methods. We all have 2 eyes, 2 noses, right? 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 legs. But different people do different things. So you need to know that these are all the methods. Methods determines what you can do, what you can do. So usually if you wanted to do something with this class, you just need to come to read all the methods. And you get an idea, oh, I can use this class to create a new file. I can use this class to read a file, something like that. So these are all the methods of this class, If you come here to see other methods listed like this, that means it's from the parents, okay? The parents has that method. You can also use it. And if you come to the methods, you click on any one, it will give you the detailed information about that method. What does this method do, right? And you need to be very familiar with this. You see Boolean, that is what the method will return. It will return a Boolean value. And then you will see here, it has 2 parameters, right? When you provide the augmented value to this method, you need to be able to understand it. You need to provide a Boolean value here, a Boolean value here, all right? So you need to have this knowledge or this skill, and then you will be able to get into level 3, okay? So here, when we talk about a file in Java file class, it is not just for file. It can also represent a directory, a folder. So file actually is abstract. It is abstract. You do not have to have a physical file in your computer hard disk. And once you create a file, it is abstract. It will exist in memory. You can use it even if that file is not on your disk. Okay? You remember that? So first, let's see what files do we have in the folder. So let's say, how can I find all the files, let's say, in this folder? How many files in this folder? How can I use Java to do it? That will be our first practice. So let's write Java code to achieve it. So how can I find all the files in the folder? Then let's go back to the website with the Java Docker. So let's see what files do we have in the folder. we will create a method to do it. So I will ask you question about this method. Also pay attention to this method, okay? List method of the file class. Go back to read this website. Come back, okay? Scroll up and then find the method called list. Just click on it. List. With this, what do you get? It will tell us you returns an array of strings naming the files and the directories in the directory denoted by this abstract path name. What does it mean? Let's try some code in them. Okay, what I mean. Get you guys to this. Can you guys go to your project, Java project, and create a Java class? All right, can you guys go there and create a Java class? Name it whatever you guys wanted to name it. Okay, so I have such a file created here. Right? So you just go ahead and create a class, or let me just do that. Let me do it with you guys together. Right click on my package, say new Java class. And let me just use level 3 Java. Use that. When you do this, can you guys watch my screen? Check this box. This will save you some time so you can test your class and then click finish. All right, so you get in the Java class like this. Once you have that, let me give you this method. We have written this method, okay? Let me give you this in the chat. And go ahead and copy it. And then look at my screen. I will put this method in my Java class here before the last bracket. So this is my method. The method is called get files. You may not write a lot of methods before, okay? Now we need to do a lot of methods classes. So this is the first one. And when you paste your code here, you see you have a problem for this line, right? Move your mouse hover over this red line. And then you will see it give you the hint how to solve the problem. It asks you to import a file. You need to import the class. Click on it. This is exactly the class we imported. It is this one. You will see Java io.file. So that's what we imported here. So for the students in our robotic club, and when you do Java programming, and you need to control your robot. And you see what we need is to get the library of the FTC. FTC provided libraries, so then we just import all those classes we need to use. And then we use it. And we need to be able to find out the methods, the properties of those classes. You see here, this is the code we put it here. And you see what we do here. First thing, Okay, we create a new instance of the file class. And how do we do it? We use the construct file, right? File uses string here. You see the folder name is a string. You pass it in to this method, and then now you use it here. You use it here, and let me come back to the website, and let's come to the constructor. You see the constructor, you have 4 here. Can anyone tell me which constructor are we using here in our method? Okay, so we're using this one, come to the website. So let me name this one is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So can you guys type your answer to me? Which constructor are we using in our example? You just need to give me numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one are we using? Can you put that in the chat? Nobody? You guys get lost. So let me ask her then, okay? So David, so can you take a guess?
So take a guess at file.
Which constructor are we using here in this example when we do this? Which constructor are we using? So I see this one is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is number 4. Which one are we using to create a file instance?
Three.
Let me ask Michael, you agree?
I think it's 2.
2 is the right answer. Very good. Because you see this constructor accept a string, and that's what we do here. We use new file, you got a string. So you are using that constructor to create an instance of the file. All right. So let me just run this one first, and then I will come back to explain this code. Okay. So let me just run this one. So let's see how to run it. Now I have a method. How do I use it? Just create an instance of this class and then use it. So for an example, if your class is called a file IO, then you just do this. Okay, let me give you this code. Of course, for me, I needed to change my code a little bit, but I can do that. All right, so let me give you this code, and you look at my screen. I will put those 2 lines of code in the main method, because the main method is a way for me to run this Java class. And my class is not called a file IO, so I need to change this to my class name. Level 3 Java. Okay? Of course, if I use level 3 Java, that's the type, then I need to change this one as well. So I create an instance of myself, this class. So I create an instance of level 3 Java. Then now you see, I can use this method, right? Get files. So I pass in a C temp fold to this method. So let me just save my code and run it. And you see what is printed out. So you see I got a bunch of stuff printed out here. And if I go to my C temp folder, if I go to C temp, right? And you will see I have exactly those files, okay? You see I have exactly those files and their folders, okay? You see here, I do not have a folder, okay? So all files here, and you see it is printed out. It is printed out here in my console. Right. Now you see the power. You can easily write in the Java application. You can get all the files from a person's computer, right? You see, it reads all the files from a folder. So let me stop here and check your work. And I want you to share your screen to me to see if it works for you. You can change the folder, okay? You can try whatever folder you like, but I wanted to make sure it works for you. Okay, let me get Stephen. Does it work for you, Stephen?
It works for me.
Can you share your screen?
I'm there. Sure, let me do that.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. You're very smart. You already changed the folder. Thanks, Stephen. Right, Marilyn, do you mind?
Like I couldn't download Eclipse, but I had it on like a Google Docs, so I basically put everything in there to like take notes.
Oh, you do not have Eclipse?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to download the Eclipse. Make sure you have Java installed on your computer when you have Eclipse, and you need to remember how to set Java home.
Okay.
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 All right. Okay. So it works. And then now let's come back to load the code. I wanted to explain the code to you guys so you guys have an idea why it works. So here I just create an instance of my own class, and then I used the method I created. If I call my method expect a string, and I give it this string, and this string is the path. It's a path. So you see here, if you put it there, now you create a file, okay? When we said file, I said it can be a folder, it can be a file. Here, what we pass in actually is a folder. And it is a virtual. That means even this folder does not exist. It is okay at this step. At this step, it is okay. Only if you come to this step, you wanted to do list, then you have a problem. If it does not exist, it does not exist, then you cannot do list, right? All right, so we are good with this line of code. This use the constructor number 2. we create an instance of a file. Now we use the method of a file list. Okay, what does it do? Okay, David, let me stop sharing. Can you share your screen to me so I can help you? All right. Can you copy your code line 4 to line 10? Copy it from line 4 to line 10. Yeah, copy it or cut it. No. Okay. And then paste it at line 6. Okay. Now you should be good. Okay. Very good. All right. So you use list method. List will return an array of strings. Now in this area, there are all the names of the files or subfolders. Okay. So that is why. So you get an array and then you check here if the array is null or not. So if you given a folder does not exist, let me say, put in a TT here. Okay. I do not have such a folder. Let me run it. You see? You still have the file here created, but when you do list, you do not have any files returned. So this equal to null. So it does nothing. Okay. So now you see if you do have files, if the folder exists, and in the folder you do have files, then this children will not be null. So now you just come to loop through this array, and then you just print the file name out one by one. You see, this is the loop. This is the condition. And in the loop, what do? You see, you use the length of the array, then you loop through it every time you pull out one item using this index value and just print it out. So if I run it again now, you see I get all the files. So this example or this method just teach us two things. One, you can create an instance of a file using a folder. That's this one. Second one, a file class has a method called list. List will return all the file names in this folder, including subfolder names. And it will return an array. So the rest of the things is that, oh, I got that array. I wanted to look at what they are. I print them out. So these are routine code. We did a lot in level 1 and level 2. But you see how powerful it is if you use the file class. If you use the file class. And once you get an instance of it, you use its method, and then you can do a lot. We just use one method of this. Does this make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? Marilyn, can you follow along? Okay, how about you, Michael?
Yeah, this makes sense.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good.
Very good. So then let's continue. Okay, if you put your foot in this one now, so the rest of this series, I think it should not be that hard to you because now your mindset shifted from basic Java to the real world Java programming. A lot of people, they get into a company or government, they needed to do the development work. That's what they do. The life, right? The working life. That's what they do. They use the Java classes other people developed. If other people does not have this kind of Java classes, libraries, then this person needed to develop their own library to get the things done. Okay, all right, let's move on. Let's try to do one more thing. So can you try different fold? And I already saw that Steven tried a different fold, Devin already tried a different fold. And then I'm not going to ask you guys to try it. So do you feel the point that you now have the ability to crawl a fold and get all the items in that fold? So if you write an application, and for a lot of people, they make up an application like that and put it on the website and make it like in the virus. So people, they're not aware of that. They accidentally downloaded it to the computer. And if this application can fire up automatically, it will crawl your entire hard disk and get the file. And if that person is bad, and all the files can be sent to this guy over the network. Okay. So you see the power, right? You see the power of the Java coding. So can we find out all files in the folder, including those in all subfolders? Okay. So now we changed the requirement. The previous one is that can we find all the files in the folder? But now I will ask you not just the files under this folder. If you have a subfolder, can you also get those files? Think about that. How can I solve this problem? So you're not just crawling. Let me come here to show you. So if I pass in this folder, so if you talk about files, it will only give me how many? 11. Okay. But you see, I do have subfolders here. So you needed to be able to get all the files in the subfolders. That's a recursive thing. So how can we solve this problem? All right. So then come back to look at this method. We learned the list. Now click on list files. When you read the list method and the list files method, can you guys tell me the difference between these two? Go ahead with this one and the one list we just used. Can you guys tell me the difference? What are the differences between these two? Okay, let me ask it, David.
List files, only list the files, and lists everything.
I did not get what you said. Can you speak up?
List files lists all the files in one file, and lists everything in the file.
Let me ask Stephen, do you agree? Stephen.
Well, I'm still reading it because I took some time to find it.
Oh, okay. Okay, Andy, have you finished reading?
I'm almost done.
Okay, give you guys 1 more minute and tell me the difference, okay, between these two. Okay, Andy.
So just list basically returns all the files and folders in like a certain place that you specify, and then list files only returns the specific files in a place.
All right, so Michael, now you finished reading? You agree?
I think so. A list returns an array of strings, but list files returns an array of abstract path names.
Exactly, that's actually what I need. So you see the difference here. What we return is an array of file. You see here, this is the return type. It's an array of file. So if you return an array of file, you can use them because they are the file object. Here, what returned is just a string. It is a file name. It is not a file object. With the name, you say you just print out the name. You really cannot do other things to it. It's just a string. You can just use a string there. But if you return is a file, okay, then whatever here on this website is still apply to it. Okay, so let me give you the code. Let me give you the code. All right, so if you have time to go back to read this method is directory, is a file, get name, get absolute path. So these are all the methods we will use in our method. I will give to you. So combining this knowledge and the recursive function, we can get all files and the folders, including items in the subfolders. Because what returned is an array of file, what you can do, you will check if this file is a folder or not. If it is a folder, I will just pass it again to call list files. So I will get my files in the subfolder, and then the subfolder, then the subfolder, then the subfolder. Do it recursively, you will exhaust all the subfolders in the current folder. All the subfolders and its children, and it's the grandchildren and the great grandchildren it will get all the files. So you see the big difference there. What return you got? One is just a file name. One is an object. And that object happen to be file. That's what we are loading. Okay. So you need to check if it's in a directory or a file. If it's a file, it is a file. It will not have a subfolder. It will not have a children in it, right? If it's a directory, then you use that. So let me give you this code. All right, and then you look where I put my code. I always put it, okay, before the last bracket. So let me put more space here, and then now let me paste my code here. So I have the file, okay? Oh, okay. Looks like I need to just replace this one. All right, so let me just replace the whole thing here. Let me just remove this one. All right. So you see, what does this one do? You also create an instance of a file. Then now you use list files. You get an array of files, file object. So you check if it's null or not. If it is not null, what you do? You have a string, you set the name equal to input. Then now you loop through it. You see, when you loop through it, what do we do here in this loop? Okay, you see, I got this one. I got it. I will check if this is a directory or not. If this is a directory or not. If this file is a directory, you see what do I do? I get the absolute path. So that will be a string. So I will just call myself again, this recursive call, get the files. I will just pass in this file name to it. I will just pass the file name to it. So the call itself again, if it is not a directory, that means it is a file. So you just get this file, get the name, and here you just print it out, print the file name out. Okay. All right. So this will be the for. This will be for that if. Okay. This will close the if. This close the for. So this close the for. Okay. So here you see recursive, and you get the file object. Now let me change this to Eclipse. Okay, you know that I have a lot of subfolders. So let me just run it. And you will see that all the files in the subfolders will be out. Tons of it. Tons of it. So you see the difference between list file and the list. And when you use list file, you get an array of file objects. The file objects, you can check if the file is a file or is a folder. They use this to check. If it's a folder, you get the absolute path. And then you just call this method again. Call it again. because you are a directory. So I wanted to find what is in this directory. So when you do this recursively, you will be able to exhaust. You get to the bottom level of it. All right, so let me stop here. Let me just check your work. Can I get a David to show me your work? See if it works for you.
I don't have any files like in Eclipse, so my thing just returns nothing.
Can you share your folder to me, your file explorer? Can you share that to me? Share your screen. Yeah, let me take a look at it if you have if you have the Eclipse folder, it should have a lot of subfolders. Okay. So that's in your desktop. Then you can just change it to a different folder. Try that. And then can you go back to your code? And it looks to me that you have two methods. The two methods of the same. Let me take a look at it. See if it's correct or not. Share your Eclipse to me, the source code. Yeah, 912. Yeah, the files one. Okay. All right, you're smart. You're smart. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, you just need to find the folder. You have a lot of subfolders and try to run it. Okay, you don't have to use Eclipse because you do not have such a folder. All right, so let me see, Devin. Do you mind to share yours to me?
I'm not sure where to put it. Where to put that thing. Is it over here?
Can you run it?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, you still have the old method.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to put it. Do I just put it?
Yeah, just replace it. Replace it. Yes.
Okay. I can't. Hold on.
Yeah, now run it. This time it will exhaust. It will, do recursively. It will get to the bottom of all the folders. Run it. Do you have any such folder there?
Yeah, I do.
It's also in the E drive. Okay. Cool. Very good. Very good. Thank you. All right. So that's all I have today. And I hope you guys enjoy the code here. And you also see the power of Java coding. And it is really powerful. It can solve real world problem. And if you guys have a question, can speak up. If not, I will return the class back to Miss He. Looks like Miss He get dropped off. Anyhow, I think it's already at 15 and then we can stop here. If you have question, you need my help, you can stay, or you guys can feel free to leave and see you next week. And I hope you enjoy.